What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Profiling Passionate People. I am Solomon Ladvinka, and we're going to be talking NFL, but unfortunately, my Donovan McNabb jersey was a little too tight for me, and I'm sure you guys don't really want to see that. So I'm still going to rock Philly. I got my Allen Iverson jersey. I got a good friend that's going to be coming in here and talking about his Philadelphia Eagles, a longtime friend of mine, Mr. Allen Cardoza is here with us to talk about his Eagles. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, bro?
What's up? What's up? I see the fly Eagles fly back there, and I knew that as soon as I needed an Eagles fan, I was like, you know what? The only diehard that I know is this cat right here.
You
So
didn't have to put no Instagram messages, no nothing. You already knew where to go.
all I had to do was, okay, I need people, and instantly Eagles. I was like, I already got you penciled in. So, with that being said, how did you become an Eagles fan, though?
It started, you know, growing up as like in a Latino household. There's no football in these houses, bro. Like there's no football whatsoever. The only football is football.
Football, yeah.
That's the one we got. Um, this was when I started like my little stage where I was like getting into sports. I was like, experimenting, playing little things here and there at school or park, whatever the case may be. And by the time this was all going on, I was already a basketball fan. So I was already into the Lakers. So I'd be catching the games here and there back when they were playing on like Fox Sports West back in the day, K Count 9 and all that business.
Wow, yeah.
And I remember this one game. This was I don't remember what year it was though, but I remember it was a Sunday game. Kobe wasn't playing; he was hurt, and game's going on, whatever. I'm watching the game and all that business, and all of a sudden, like they show Kobe on the screen, and he's wearing a Donovan McNabb jersey. And by this time, I was already in love with Kobe. Though. Like he's everything, It's like this is our guy, and I'm like, who's he wearing? Like, what is like? Obviously, I knew it was a football jersey, but it's like, what is he doing? Like, who is this? So game finishes up. I'm all intrigued and everything. So I, put on Sports Center that night. Sunday, obviously, games are being played. Highlights come on, and I see them. And this was like, okay, like Eagles, number 5, green jersey. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna start paying attention to them. And now I remember the year. It was 04, because that was the year that they went to the Super Bowl and they lost to the Patriots.
Yep.
So I started catching them during the regular season. I just kind of followed them. Season went on. I just kind of started, keeping an eye on them, still looking at them, watching the games whenever I could. And I was like, hey, this team's kind of good. You got T.O., you got Westbrook, you got McNabb. It was a good offense. Andy Reid, Jim Johnson with that great defense. Like, things were looking beautiful. And so as the season get on, they kept getting better. I was like, okay, I'm going to start paying attention to them. And before you know it, I was crying in the Super Bowl, bro.
Oh.
And that's how it started.
That's, similar story with me and the Titans. I was watching the Super Bowl. All of my friends in elementary school, they were wearing Titans jerseys, and I was brand new to the school. And so I needed to fit in with them. So I watched the Titans and the Rams back in 2000. And that's how I became a Titans fan. Otherwise, I'd still be rocking my Jerry Rice and Steve Young jerseys because I was a diehard Niner fan growing up in San Francisco. But you mentioned that year and those players. Growing up, obviously, just being a huge sports fan already, I started growing onto the Eagles and loving Donovan McNabb, loving T.O., eventually Brian Dawkins, of course, but eventually I loved Deshaun Jackson. And when I was in high school, I rocked the number 10. And at the time, I was going through a couple stuff in my life, and I had wanted to go to a school where their mascot was the Eagles. So, of course, you being a little kid, you got Madden, you have the created team, and you have your quarterback, you have your all-star wide receiver, number 10 for the Eagles. Obviously, that was me. But, you have your average of 99s and 99s and everything. So I've always had a soft spot for the Eagles. I love what they did bringing in Jalen Hurts. I just think that when you have the correct formula, and especially with a new coach coming into the season, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of them fly, Eagle, fly banners going all over the place.
People are excited. People are definitely excited. I'm excited because it's a young team, so you don't know what you're going to get. But there's enough of a mix of the young guys, and then there's enough mix of veterans where they can kind of put it together. And I think we could surprise some people. It's a good offensive line. We got a great set of weapons. Miles Sanders, obviously Jalen's very explosive out wide. We got Devontae now. Travis Fulgham showed some promise last season.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz, he's probably not going to be on the team, but he's done enough where, these last few years, he's helped a lot of guys grow. Dallas Goedert, he's probably, give him a year or two, he's probably going to take over Ertz's spot as one of the top tight ends in the league, if we're being honest. So,
yeah,
the weapons are there. The only thing that does kind of worry me a little bit is just our defense. Our D-line, we're good there. There's always, a good rotation going on there. It's always a secondary. Even though we picked up Darius Slay last year, it's still, he can't do it all by himself,
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Darius Slay, and the thing is, it's just like you only have one Darius Slay, so maybe it's going to prevent them from, throwing to that side of the ball. But at the same time, that secondary did get chewed up. Just the collective group, I think, will start to come together. Like you mentioned, I think the defense is going to be picking up off of what the offense is doing. You have that versatile threat with Jalen Hurts and bringing in Devontae Smith. There have been so many videos of this boy going up for the ball. Players and coaches are already praising how lanky he is and just the will and the desire to get up. And so, I just think, with the weapons that you just mentioned, the team going for 11-1 last season, the tie obviously to the Bengals, but this team has got so much promise, and I really cannot see the NFC East being the NFC least. So I think Philadelphia has a lot to be excited about. Obviously, the Sixers coming off of a great postseason run. Clearly, Ben Simmons, who knows if they chased him out of the building or out of the city yet. But yeah, I remember the few times that I've gone to Philadelphia, that place is just so amazing. Have you been to Philadelphia and let alone seen an Eagles game in person?
I haven't. That's on the bucket list.
Okay.
A game at the Link is a must for me.
Okay, so but you've never been to Philadelphia though itself, right?
Never either.
So anyone that would like to donate, we have a GoFundMe linked at the bottom. I'm just joking with you. I would be more than happy to join you on that because I'm eager beaver to get back to Philadelphia. It's just, bro, it's the same thing like with myself. Like I've never been to a Titans game. I had just recently went to Nashville for the very first time during the pandemic, so I was very blessed to see the stadium in person. But yeah, there's something about just being in Philadelphia that whether I go with you or you go by yourself, you're gonna be in for a great time. I'm just curious though, what jersey would you be rocking though? Should you go out there and catch a game at the Link?
Probably. If we're talking current players, either Sanders or Devontae.
Oh, you got both of their jerseys already?
No, but if I could,
okay.
It'd be one of those two. Now, if I had to choose between
any and
older players, I need Brian Dawkins.
Dawkins, okay. I thought you were gonna rock the McNabb. Okay.
That's my boy, Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, I'm going to the Titans one. They're playing the Rams out here later in the season. And I still got my Derrick Henry that I can easily rock, but I just got that powdered blue Oiler Eddie George throwback one. Yeah, that's going to be my jersey for life until I get that signed and eventually framed. But yeah, man, should you be able to go out there rocking that Brian Dawkins jersey, just be a sponge and just soak all of that in for sure.
Yep.
So
Yep.
looking at you guys,
that's in itself right there.
yeah, absolutely. Now looking at your guys' schedule, you guys start off with the Falcons, Matty Ice. They have brand new head coach, the Titans' former offensive coordinator. I think if you guys shut down Kyle Pitts, I think the first upcoming games, you guys can easily go 3-0 leading up into week 4 against the Chiefs. That's just my opinion. But you do look at the later end of the season, your last 4 games.
If I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, I think we have the easiest schedule of any team. I think I saw that somewhere, that if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, that could be a blessing and that could be a curse. Like you never know which way that's going to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, like how you're saying, the games are definitely winnable. If the guys step up and they do their jobs, anything can happen.
And honestly, I mean, out of my personal opinion, we'll go over records and everything here soon. But I mean, like I said, the first 3 weeks, you got the Falcons, you got the 49ers, and you got the Cowboys before going and playing against the Chiefs. You look at the last 4 in the regular season, and it's all NFC East teams. 2 out of the last 4 games are against the Washington football team. So I think, like I said, with the poise and the expectations that the fans put on the Eagles to perform, I think that this team could definitely do some damage, especially in the East. But like I was saying, I have a strong feeling that they should be the winners of the NFC East and making the playoffs. That's just my personal opinion. But so you being the diehard fan that you are, obviously we got 17 games this season, no longer 16. I know you would want them to go 17-0, especially with that schedule that you just looked at. Realistically, what are your expectations, and give me a 17-game record?
The strides that Jalen made last year, you could see it. You can see that the guys rally behind him. Yeah. And it's going to help so much now that we have a weapon coming in where they already have chemistry.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big thing too. I mean, it's a bunch of young guys. I think the offense is going to be fine. Obviously, Jalen's going to have his growing pains. There's no doubt about that. You know, you take the good with the bad. That's just how it goes.
Of course.
I think it's all going to depend on how the defense goes. If the defense can hold their own and they can, play some good football, you're right. I don't see how this team can't win the division. I'll be more than happy, to be completely honest. I'll be more than happy if we do a 10-7, a 9-8. If we do something along those lines, a jump from, you can basically say 4-12.
Yeah.
Go from 4 wins to 9 or 10, just from basically would be year 2 for Jalen, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. I'll be more than happy with that. That's progress right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I know us Titan fans, July 9th had just recently passed, and under our Jeff Fisher era, it was always a 7-9 record. So you have July 9th, 7-9. So happy late Jeff Fisher day to all of us Titan fans. But yeah, definitely. I mean, if you guys can definitely win more games than the 4 that you did last season, hopefully you guys are able to win the East, get into the playoffs instead of, going down the line the last couple of games last season where it was like, okay, who's going to get in? Because it was just melee. And I'm sure as an Eagle fan, your heart was being tugged at a little bit, but
it was a mess. It's like, you don't know, like, do we want to win and do we screw ourselves over with like draft positioning? Yeah. Do we lose and improve the positioning? Because obviously, if we end up losing, we get the better pick, which ended up happening. But then it's like, okay, we win and we screw over a divisional opponent, so that always feels good. So I mean, you're right. It was tugging because it's like you don't know what you want.
Yeah. So this is gonna be like a little 2-party question. What did Carson Wentz mean to you?
I genuinely thought that when we drafted him, all the moves that how we made to get up to that second spot going to be the future until
There we go. We're good.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I honestly thought that Carson was going to be the future. Like, even up until, that game where, he ended up messing up his knee against the Rams. I mean, for being honest, he was going to win the MVP that year. If he finishes out the year and things go well, that MVP is his. And I think it went to Brady that year, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to be his. And from there, I think once that happened, it just started to go downhill from there. Because then you started to read about all these issues with the locker room drama and how he wasn't really taking ownership of his mistakes last or 2 seasons ago, and how he was kind of blaming it on other people, or basically deflecting all types of blame away from him. And so that kind of drove, if let's say if those things were true or not, that kind of started to drive me away from him. Like, okay, you know what, like, if you're going to be the guy of the franchise, it needs to be somebody that can be held accountable, where it's like, where you put him in front of the mic, in front of the podium, he's going to be able to say, if it was his fault, he's going to own up to it. And he just wasn't doing it.
Yeah, I mean, when you rock that captaincy, whether you're playing or not, you got to go out there and support your teammates. And obviously, it was a blessing in disguise. Clearly, if I'm correct, that was the same season where Nick Foles did step in, and that's why the banner is hanging above your head right there. So, clearly he got you guys to a playoff caliber team. Nick Foles did his thing, and got the one and only Philadelphia Eagles championship for the city. So Carson Wentz now out. You got Jalen Hurts that's now in. And, I remember it was the night that the Lakers had won the championship in 2020. We were out visiting in Philadelphia. And I just remember after the Lakers won, they put on local TV. And it was the Eagles had lost, I think, by like a landslide. And you just saw the hatred in these passionate Philadelphia fans, where they're like, Carson's got to go. And we drafted Jalen for a reason. Jalen's got his shot now, and it's only smooth sailing from here on up for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clean slate. It's a brand new coaching staff. The weapons are there. They have a little bit of chemistry already. I mean, the opportunities are there. And, Nick Sirianni, he's coming in. He's bringing in a fresh new attitude. Seems like a really fun guy. From like all the videos, all the interviews that I've seen of him, of the players talking about it. He seems like a really cool dude. And, you just hope that kind of chemistry translate from the meeting room, from the practice field onto actual game days. You can only hope.
Yeah, I mean, it starts from the leadership of the coach, and when you have the locker room's attention, it's sky's the limit. And the thing is, because they did so poorly last year, and nobody's expecting the Eagles to succeed this season, I feel that they're their own enemies. So, it's up to the Eagles, and let's see what kind of content we get this year. But I know you being the diehard fan, I know you'll be in front of the TV every single time that they play. So can't wait for this upcoming season. We just got a couple more weeks here.
Win, lose, or draw, I'm going to be there.
Now, fly, Eagles, fly. All right, brother, man. Really appreciate you coming on here, talking about your Eagles. Just, again, season's right around the corner. I cannot wait. So, all right, guys, that'll do it for us. I am Solomon. That is Alan. And, catch us on another episode here on Profiling Passionate People. Until then, we'll see you guys later. All right. Thank you.